Hi guys, I'm back, grabbing ball number 3. So, I've sent up my chuteroid. What does it do? Well, you can see here for me reconfiguring the parachutes, or some of them. I completely forgot to set them up. So, resetting the parachutes so that they deploy at 5,000 meters rather than 500, so it'll slow the asteroid down a little bit sooner, so hopefully it won't smack into the ground quite so hard, or even rip the parachutes off. The chuteroid is copied from my Kerbal Space Hotels and Holidays series. Mentioned in the last video for that I had 2 in orbit, and so I'll just copy the craft files over. Already had something set up for basically deorbiting asteroids and bringing them down safely. But they haven't been tested, so this is the first test. And I did realise during this that a few modifications were required for decent operation, like that, for example. And of course, not knowing what orientation the pods are in. So on these pods, they basically have the I think it's the Octo that's on there, the remote control unit. You've got an RCS tank or 2, and 8 parachutes, as well as some RCS jets, of course. And of course each pod has its own claw, as you can see. So basically you just detach it from the main ship, manoeuvre it around, plonk it on the asteroid where you want it, and hey presto. Again, another one that's in the wrong pagan orientation. One of the good things about the chuteroid is where I place the lights at the front. Well, basically X marks the spot. So the lights make an X on the asteroid, and that's where you're going to go. So allows you to look at the surface of the asteroid and make sure that you're going to be coming into the asteroid at a flat spot. Now, one limitation that I realised was a lack of lights. The pods need lights as well. Dope! So I had to time warp around on the dark side. So as you can see, getting the pods deployed, not brilliantly hard. And of course each of the pods have got docking ports on, so oops. Yeah, definitely needed lights for that little bit, and that, yeah, kind of bounced off the surface there. Oh well, never mind. Oh, the chuteroids also have solar panels as well, by the way, so that you can dock them onto an asteroid and not worry about them running out of power. Well, not worrying too much about it anyway. So yeah, was trying to get this video done earlier, posted up on the forum that I'd done it, so I'd shot all the video, and I kind of ended up having to delay doing this video for a couple of days because I wasn't really feeling too well and couldn't look at the screen and whatnot. So, oh well. Let's get this done now. So most of this video is sped up by 4 times. Certain parts of the video are sped up to 10 times. For the simple reason being that you've seen me do that part of the video before, and it's probably not all that interesting. So the main part, the chuteroid, has all the docking ports on it, and of course a nuclear engine. Why do we have a nuclear engine on? Because we need to deorbit it. The asteroid, that is. So, as you've just seen, did the best that I could to align the main central rocket with the centre of mass of the asteroid, and spin the whole thing round retrograde, and commence a deorbit burn. So trying to burn as best as possible in the retrograde, try and get the Dawn asteroid to come down. As soon as possible. Which was nigh on impossible. Well, I basically left the burn a touch too late. So as you can see, I'm on a path to overshoot. Now at this point, I knew full well I was going to end up ditching in the water. So I made a good decision. I burnt off all the RCS and as much fuel as I could, before of course the asteroid spun around and the parachutes dragged it into the orientation that it's in now. And of course plenty of parachutes to kill its horizontal speed, and now it's coming down almost vertically, just off the shore from the KSC. So the parachutes start to deploy, just shy of 15 meters per second coming down. Not all of the parachutes were reconfigured for 5,000. Kind of missed a few of the pods. Oh well. They'll deploy at 500, like that. So, 100, 50, and she floats! Hence why I spilt off as much of the RCS as I could. So, trying to use up what fuel I'd got to push it into the shore a little bit, didn't kind of just did not work. So I sent out my trusty tug. And lo and behold, my trusty tug bounces quite nicely on the water. Don't want to go too fast with it because it does have a general tendency to spin wildly out of control. Now, this is a modified version of the tug. It has additional RCS jets in the nose to help with rotating it round. There is, however, one thing I completely forgot about with this, when I deployed it onto the water. And that is reverse thrust. Basically, it has none. So, at this point, just refueling the tanks. Basically, it resets the centre of mass further back, so it drops the tail down. But a time warp makes things go weird. And now we're backing up, and yeah, that's where we were sorely missing the RCS, because it took ages to back up onto it. Now at this point, it's at the wrong angle to grab onto. So I'm releasing some of the chuteroid pods. That way it sinks the asteroid and leaves the main tail up, well, the main part of the chuteroid a little bit more vertical to be able to grab onto it a bit easier. Yeah, 0.1 meters per second reverse speed. Oh gold, that took ages. Thank God for a ton of RCS. And there we go, we've grabbed onto it. So let's spin us around, head for shore. We've got quite a distance to go there. So here we are trying to configure the engines for as close to straight line as we can get. Bear in mind, we have also burnt off all of our RCS propellant. And there we have a slight problem. Remember what I was saying about it not being stable sideways in the water? Yeah. It spins around like that. Now what happened is I tried to use physics time warp, and it snapped the main pod with the that was sticking up out of the water. So kinda have a problem now. So I refitted it with a bobtail, basically. A very short piece that the arm is attached to. Also, I equipped it with a bit more RCS this time for reverse. So sent Bill out again to go and get Jeb's balls. Oops. I don't think I could have got that any closer if I'd have tried. So, now we spin around. And a little bit on the reverse. Now the claw's just below the water level, need it a touch lower, so let's go ahead and transfer some fuel to the rear. Now, I have a slight problem here. As you can see, I'm bouncing off that little pod that isn't connected to the asteroid. And it won't move aside, and it keeps pushing me around. And eventually I grab onto it. And then when I used the RCS, I realised that the RCS on that little pod was also firing, which meant it was connected to the asteroid. Squad, I think I found a bug there. So anyway, this time, don't use physics time warp. Let's just spend what was it, half an hour to an hour, something like that, just cruising back again. Again, just configuring the engines for a nice straight line approach. Yes, the engines have a general tendency to damage the asteroids when they're that close. So something you want to be aware of. You can vaporise asteroids, I believe, with jet engines and liquid engines. Although I've not actually tried it, so someone might want to see if they can vaporise asteroids. So, got it configured for a straight line. The SAS is taking care of any of the minor stuff. The thing you've got to keep an eye on is the fuel levels. Unfortunately, dragging an asteroid through water, while it doesn't accurately simulate fluid dynamics, it still slows you down. So come up to the shore here, and we're going to engage all the engines because you need them all to get out of the water. As soon as the asteroid hits the bottom and starts rising up out of the water like that, full throttle, and that's when I realised I was going to have an issue. Yeah, so even though I activated all the engines, because it was such a short tail that was on it. Yeah. Mental note, throttle down the engines before you release it. But it was such a small tail on the end, it was causing problems, and the asteroid was trying to lift the entire thing out of the water and yada yada yada. So, oops, not quite sure what the hell that was, but anyway, back to the KSC to go and get the original. That one. The one with the long tail. Specifically designed for dragging an asteroid across the surface. So, luckily enough, it's just at the end of the runway. So we just tootle down the runway. And this thing, because of the flexibility of the struts, probably don't want to go over about 50-60 meters per second, especially not off the end of this. So simple enough. Dragging it up a hill again, kind of experienced in that. So we just swing around and let gravity do its work. Of course, because we need manoeuvrability, we suck up the landing gear and use the I forgot what they're called now. The other ones that I've got on there, which unfortunately I kind of popped the tyres at one point on the way around. That's why you see the nose bouncing around like that. And then I end up getting stuck. So, simple solution, drop the landing gear and then we miss. That's got it. Let's go! Right, this time, dragging an asteroid across the surface. Yeah, kind of learned from the previous attempts, so I was able to drag it in a straight line a little bit better, although I did stall out a couple of times. The trick is to drag it at about 10 meters per second. Once you go over about 20, the asteroid is then in control. And it likes to move from side to side. Now luckily on this, the extra RCS and the extra reaction wheels managed to keep it in a straight line a little bit better for me. Although as you can see, it does like to take control. And a slight detour around the vertical launch buildings was definitely required. And then at this point, nothing I did would let it turn, because I was going too fast. So I cut the throttle and do my absolute best to swing it, and just managed to get it turned before I slammed into the VAB, which was pretty close. So there's ball 2, and once again I cannot turn. But turning circle of the QE2. No, which I'm not really surprised dragging an asteroid. So, try and shut down some of the jet engines, and no, it does not want to turn. So, screw it. Job done.